Hey, what is up, viewers? Patrick from Bible Versus Only back with another YouTube video, and this is episode 5 of Promises We Keep Ours. And today's verse comes out of John 10:10, and it reads, "The thief comes only to steal, kill, and destroy. I have come that they may have life and have it to the full." And that's what that verse means, and let's get right into it. It's time for our Royal Rangers recap. And why don't we head to Matthew? In Matthew 8, verse 7 through 8. And I'm going to give you a little backstory behind this verse. In Matthew 8, this is basically the faith of the centurion. And here's what it says in verse 7. Jesus said to him, "Shall I come and heal him?" The centurion replied, "Lord, I do not deserve to have you come under my roof, but just say the word and my servant will be healed." I don't know what the word is, but that's really weird. Now we go to the book of Acts, and in the book of Acts, in chapter 5, verses 28 through 29, and here is what the verse says, starting in verse 28, and it reads, "We gave you strict orders not to teach in this name. He said, yet you have fulfilled Jerusalem with your teaching and are determined to make us guilty of this man's blood." Peter and the other apostles replied, "We must obey God rather than human beings." And now we go to the book of, let's do Romans. Romans 13, verses 1 through 7. And here we go. Here's what it says, starting at verse 1. "Let everyone be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except that which God has established. The authorities that exist have been established by God. Consequently, whoever rebels against the authority is rebelling against what God has instituted, and those who do so will bring judgment on themselves. For rulers hold no terror for those who do right, but for those who do wrong. Do you want to be free from fear of the one in authority? Then do what is right, and you will be condemned. For the one in authority is God's servant for your good. But if you do wrong, be afraid, for rulers do not bear the sword for no reason. They are God's servants, agents of wrath, to bring punishment on the wrongdoer. Therefore, it is necessary to submit it to the authorities, not only because of possible punishment, but also as a matter of consistence. This is also why you pay taxes, for the authorities are God's servants, who give their full time to governing. Give to everyone what you owe them. If you owe taxes, pay taxes. If revenue, then revenue. If respect, then respect. And if honor, then honor." Also, now we go to the book of, book of Ephesians, Ephesians 5, verses 19 through 20, 19, 20, and 21. Starting at verse 19, it says, "Speaking to one another with songs, hymns, and songs from the Spirit. Sing and make music from your heart to the Lord." Verse 20, "Always giving thanks to God the Father for everything in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ." Verse 21, "Submit to one another out of reverence for Christ." Now we're going to go, let's see, why don't we go to, is First Timothy 1 of verses? Yes, it is. 1 Timothy 2, verse 17, and it reads in First Timothy 2, verses 1 through 2? Yes, it is. It says, "I urge then, first of all that petitions, prayers, intercessions, and thanksgiving be made for all people, for kings and all those in authority, that we may live peaceful and quiet lives in all godliness and holiness." Now going to the book of, let's go to Hebrews now. Hebrews 13, verse 17. And in Hebrews 13, verse 17, here is what the verse says. And it reads, "Have confidence in your leaders and submit to their authority, because they keep watch over you as those who must give an account. Do this so that their work will be a joy, not a burden, for that would be of no benefit to you." And finally, in 1 Peter, is it 1 Peter? Yes, it is. 1 Peter 2, verse 7, 2, verse 17, this is what it says. "Show proper respect to everyone, love the family of believers, fear God, honor the emperor." And so I don't know the verse. Yes, it is. And that's all for the verse portion. There's a lot in this, and let's get right into it. So a couple things from this. First of all, perhaps this topic is an unpopular topic, and what's the reason for it? Well, it's because of coercion and manipulation. So why is submission so important? Well, what is biblical submission? Basically, it implies obedience. It also is conforming to another's will or command. Submit to God's will keep us safe from the dangers that exist outside His will. Responsibility to God. That's where Acts 5 came from. Responsibility towards rulers. That was where 1 Timothy 2 verses 1 through 2, Romans 13 1 through 7, and 1 Peter 2:17 came from. This is submission in the Spirit. This was where Ephesians 5 verses 19, 20, and 21, which I read. In Ephesians, there were other things that was mentioned in this. Wives and husbands. This was mentioned in Ephesians 5 verse 22 through 24. In Ephesians 5 verse 25 through 33, this is about husbands and wives. Ephesians 6 verse 1 through 3 talks about children and parents. Ephesians 6:4 talks about parents, fathers, and children. And Ephesians 6 verse 5 through 8 talks about slaves and masters. And Ephesians 6 verse 9 talks about masters and slaves. And there you go. And the verse to leave you with today, here it comes. Colossians 4 verse 2 says, Devote yourselves to prayer, being watchful and thankful. That's good for today's video. Thanks for watching. Until next time, meet again, viewers. In every way, God's way is always the best way.